Hello, I'm Matthew Smedley, and I am not an academic or a fundraising expert. I come to you tonight as a practitioner who has been working in the trenches of charitable work in the downtown east side of Vancouver for almost 2 decades. We've been trying to find practical ways to move forward. Yesterday, in the wee hours of the morning, I was traveling back from visiting family, and I was at the airport. I arrived at my gate, I pulled out my phone as I was trying to board, and the flight attendant scanned it, and it made this sound. She's like, oh, let me try that again. So she glanced at my ticket and kind of squinted, and she said, are you going to Atlanta? I said, no. So I was pretty embarrassed, and I realized I was in the line for the wrong flight. So gate A1, she said. So I went to the next gate, and was really pleased that she did not send me off to Atlanta. Father Richard Rohr, one of my spiritual mentors, recommends praying for 1 humiliation a day to keep your ego in check. And so I had mine done before sunrise. But that story, I believe, has something to do with philanthropy in Canada. Sometimes that's the way we give, like me at the airport. You see people are lining up, you assume it's the right direction, you tap your phone to pay. You give because others are giving, because it feels right in the moment, and that's not wrong. Spontaneous generosity matters. But there is a way to give that can be more transformative, and we've already talked about it. It's partnership. When we find causes we believe in and build long-term relationships with them, everyone wins. Charities gain stability, donors gain connections, and together we create change that lasts longer than a one-time donation. At Mission Possible, where I serve as the executive director and CEO, we learned this firsthand. We work in Vancouver's downtown east side, a community that faces immense challenges, but also has incredible resilience and beauty. Our mission is simple: to help people excluded from work find their way back into employment, and in the process, rediscover dignity and purpose. Our funding model is a little different from most nonprofits. About 1/3 comes from donors, foundations, and short-term government projects. The other 2/3 comes from our social enterprises, Mission Possible Maintenance, Mission Possible Neighbors. These are businesses. We're cleaning properties, removing graffiti, keeping the neighborhood safe. But they exist to employ and train people who've been shut out of the job market. We don't measure our success by profit margin. We measure it by lives transformed. And every year, we intentionally lose employees because they graduate, with most moving on to long-term, stable jobs elsewhere. And that's our bottom line. And the social return on this kind of investment is remarkable. Research shows that for every dollar paid in wages through employment-focused social enterprises, the community gains over $4 in social impact through reduced health care, social justice costs, and other costs, and by adding contributors back into the economy. So when you think about it, social enterprise is just another form of philanthropy, one that multiplies impact through work. But even this model, it's still really tough. Social enterprises work best when your mission includes meaningful work. I've yet to see it work really well as an income generator to fund charitable work. Nor does social enterprise eliminate all of the structural strain that the entire nonprofit sector in Canada is facing. Across the country, community organizations are holding the line on every major social challenge: housing, mental health, poverty, the climate crisis. I could go on. We are in many ways the backbone of community life. Yet we're constantly scrambling to fund the very work that holds the social fabric together. While total donations in Canada have gone up slightly in recent years, they've also been more concentrated to a wealthier few. Those with lower incomes are giving less. Unfortunately, that means less stability for grassroots organizations doing the hands-on work. It means more restricted projects and grants that tell us what we can and can't spend money on. And it means less capacity to plan, to innovate, or even breathe between grant deadlines. We need a different kind of philanthropy, one that values partnership over projects, trust over control, and stability over spontaneity. When a donor becomes a partner, something shifts. The relationship moves from transactional to transformational. From how do I help you this year to how do we build something lasting together? At Mission Possible, those who partner with us hire our graduates. They purchase services from our social enterprises, and they volunteer with us to offer their skills. Partnership is not glamorous. It likely doesn't come with ribbon cuttings and hashtags, but it sustains real change. Think about what happens when a foundation, a business, or an individual commits to a multi-year, unrestricted support. It allows organizations like ours to focus on what we do best, developing our people, improving systems, strengthening the community, instead of chasing short-term funding projects. That's when excellence happens. That's when learning compounds, and that's when philanthropy stops being a series of transactions and becomes a shared mission. So tonight, whether you lead a foundation, run a business, or simply give when you can, I'd like to offer a challenge. Give like a partner, not a passerby. Don't just board the flight that everyone else seems to be taking. Look up and ask where it's headed. And choose to invest deeply in the causes that align with your values and your hopes for this country. Because when you do, you give not just to a charity, but with a charity. You're building the infrastructure of compassion within Canada. That kind of giving doesn't just fund programs, it funds possibility, it funds stability, and it funds dignity. And at a time when so many feel left behind, that is what true philanthropy can do. Thank you.